What is the most aggressive thing a woman has ever done to gain your attention? A girl once walked right up to me at a party, stood less than a foot away, looked me in the eyes, and asked if she could kiss me. I knew who she was, but not that she was interested in me at all. I wasn't seeing anyone, so I said something witty like, sure. We've been married for 11 years. She thanks tequila when she tells people how we got together. Grabbed me by the penis. Handed me her phone. Flip phone era. She had typed, "I don't usually do this, but I want to be yours tonight, if you'll let me," or something to that effect. We ended up dating. Took a lot of math classes in college. A young college woman asked if I would tutor her as she can't keep up with her class. She comes over and immediately plops herself down on my bed like she owns it, never been over before, and then after like 5 minutes of small talk, before we even get to the homework, she bluntly and very much out of the complete blue says, "I wanna see what your cock looks like." Most pornesque moment of my entire life. I never did help her with her math at all. I was at a pool party and a girl I'd never even seen before came up to me and asked if I had a girlfriend. When I said no, she said, "Do you wanna go fuck right now?" and immediately went and had sex with her. I'd been dancing like a twat at a party, went outside to cool off. Girl comes out and punches me full in the stomach. I'm there going WTF. She informs me that it's unacceptable to have left the dance floor when her favorite song just came on. I assume that's what you mean by aggressive. In my discrete math class in college, I was sitting in the back, like you do when you're an awkward guy that has problems with falling asleep in class. Enter a girl. We'll call her K. K walks in late and scans the room, and immediately makes a beeline to sit right next to me. We didn't really talk much, but after a few classes, she asks for my phone to put her number in it. She immediately texts and asks if I'm DTF while we are still sitting in class. To say I was shocked would be an understatement. My 29th birthday, we had a small party at my brother's place. A few coworkers showed up. I went to pee. When I opened the bathroom door, a girl I worked with was standing outside the door. Before I could say anything or take a step out, she had grabbed me by the front of my shirt and pushed me back into the bathroom and started making out with me. Super hot and very unexpected. Had a cougar say, "You're very cute, how old are you?" to me in a bar once. Was shocking. While at work, she showed me a picture of her vagina on her phone and said, "You can have this when you want." I work in what many would consider a more conservative environment, not politically conservative, workplace etiquette conservative due to the nature of our business. I had been working at my current job for about 3 weeks when this very attractive woman that works in a different department drove by in a company vehicle and yells, "Dude, you give me a huge lady boner." Being who I am, I thought it was funny as hell. I'm happily married, which she did not know at the time, and in the decade that has followed we have become good friends. She has since married and had children, but we still randomly joke about it. Stuck her thigh between my legs and tried to hump me while my GF sat right next to me laughing her ass off. That shit never ever happened to me when I was single. 11th grade, she carved a wooden heart out and put our initials on it and handed it to me after high school. I had never spoken to her. She was a foreign exchange student and barely spoke English. I felt bad for being a bit put off, but admired the testicular fortitude. Had company over, and we were all drinking. One woman in particular had been talking to me all night, but I was too drunk to see the signs. I went to the garage to grab something, and she followed to help. Then out of the blue she says, "I just started going to a new place to get waxed, how did they do?" and drops her pants in front of me. I 100% understand the testosterone comment. I said I was a lifeguard. She said she could volunteer if I needed CPR practice. One girl walked up to me and straight up asked if I had a girlfriend. I said no, then asked if I wanted one. Those two stand out the most. At the end of a class everyone was squeezing into an elevator. This girl and I liked each other, but I still try to give her space. She manhandles me closer to her and says don't be scared. Everyone around us was like whoa. That sparked our relationship. There is a lot who will just grab you by the junk and try and steer you. But this one time I had this horse girl who grabbed me by the hair on the back of my head and whisper in my ear that she would break me like a feral and add me to her stud book. Then she smacked me with her horsewhip thing. Scared the shit out of me. Sat on my lap, put her arms around me, and then blew hot breath in my ear and said take me home. We were at a friend's place, but after that we were gone in 60 seconds. Friend's girlfriend asked me to fuck her in the bathroom of a strip club. We were sitting at the bar and my friend was maybe 4 feet away with his back turned. Turns out they deserved each other cause a couple years later my friend tried to get my girlfriend to cheat on me with him. No longer friends. Edit. To be clear, I turned her down. My friend and I got stranded on the side of the road when his car broke down. We called a friend to pick us up. He showed up with 2 girls sitting in the bed as his truck. My friend got in the cab, and I got in the back of the truck. One girl started patting down my pockets and asked if I had money because she was hungry for Jack in the Box. We've been together for 20 years now. We get Jack in the Box for lunch every anniversary. I was at a restaurant with 3 friends. We are sitting at the table, cutting up, laughing, and having a good time. Out of nowhere, a crumpled up napkin lands right next to my plate. I look up, and a waitress is walking by and smiling at me. I'm clueless and say something like who's throwing their trash at me? She walks by again, and low-key says to open it. Written inside is her name and phone number. Drinking with my friends at a house party and a girl walks up and grabs my hand, starts pulling me away from my friends and says we are going to fuck, I will bring him back. We did. Was great. Had a girl in college walk up, look me up and down and say you look like a good fuck, let's leave. She later tried to stab me through a door because she thought it was locked. If you're gonna bang crazy chicks, use a condom and have sturdy doors. Sitting in a nightclub booth and this girl just comes over and sits on my lap and started kisses. No words were spoken. I went to the gents, came back and she left. Grabbed my junk under the table during a friendly game of Texas Hold'em with several friends. Not super aggressive, but snatched my phone out of my hand and put her number into my contacts before telling me to call her. We went out on one date and she ended up being nuttier than squirrel shit, so I bailed on her. Girl 1, she straight up asked me on a date. In the middle of the date hinted and seeing the inside of my apartment. Then at the end of the date asked if she could use the bathroom in my apartment. Girl 2, I was giving a ride home from the bar. When we got to her place, I said goodnight. She grabbed the keys out of my ignition and said you aren't going anywhere tonight and ran into her house with them. A long time ago, I used to do trade school 2 nights a week. One night I was leaving school in my little car and pulled up at the lights out the front. I look over and the chick in the car next to me was kinda hot. She gave a little smile. I smiled back, trying to play it cool, then went back to waiting for the light. After a few seconds I noticed she's waving at me. I looked over and she's smiling, waving, and giving me the sign to wind down my window. So, feeling pretty good about myself, I wind down the window, thinking I'm going to get a number. She immediately told me I'd left my backpack on the roof of my car. The light went green, and she drove off. A woman sprayed me with breast milk straight from her breast. She wasn't trying to get my attention sexually, just get my attention in general. It felt pretty aggressive. She kissed my hand. In the middle of me interviewing her for a job. She punched her best friend who was hitting on me. Fully naked to get the point across, and then later naming a kid after me. I'm sitting next to my wife, She was my GF at the time, at my wife's grandmother's funeral, when a family friend of his who was sitting on the other side of me, GF on my right, this girl on my left, just reaches under the table and grabs my dick through my pants. My wife sees this and tells her, "Can you let go of my boyfriend's dick?" Loud ASF so the whole table can hear. It was the weirdest fucking thing to happen at a funeral. Threw her arms around my neck and wouldn't let go. We were 16 years old. We will celebrate our 46th anniversary later this year. Together for 51 years. She has poor taste in men, but I'm pretty happy about that. Came up behind me and shoved her hand down my underwear and grabbed my member. I elbowed her in the face. When I worked as a museum guide in the past, I would often have generational families on trips together, children, parents, and grandparents. One family had 2 daughters, one around my age. After my tour had ended, the grandma came up to me. I figured she had some more questions, but all she did was tell me how her granddaughter was single and I should have a shot at her. Gma even started wingmaning the shit out of her grandchild by telling me about how nice she was and for how long they would be in town. Grandmothers make the best wingman, I guess. She gave a loud fart, which we all heard, and called me out by name to tell that it's her loudest fart ever. I was in the club one night on the dance floor and had a girl lift up her skirt, no panties on, and jump on me, and I couldn't get her off of me until some other girl came over who had witnessed the whole thing and peeled her off of me, yelling at her the whole time to have some respect for herself. It was funny as all hell. Showed me her tattoo on her ass cheeks that said "slap here"